Scott, welcome to the podcast of Grow Through Positivity. It's an honor and thank you for carving out time to come on here and share some of the wisdom. I'll open it up to you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you're at and how did you get there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's really a pleasure. I'm honored to be here. In the context of this call, I am the Life is Too Short guy. So last year, I published a book that became an Amazon #1 bestseller called The Life is Too Short Guy, Strategies to Make Every Day the Best Day Ever. It started as a challenge, then became a passion, and now it's an obsession. I'm on a mission to make the world happier one smile at a time.
So break that down between the mission, the passion. How does that work? Which one do you get first? Is it clarity on the mission and then it grows and becomes a piece of the passion? Are you in love with something and you're passionate about it and you draw out your mission? Take us down that journey.
So it evolved. Like everything in life, there's a path along life where things happen and evolve for reasons. I started writing the book literally just as a challenge. I want to write this book without knowing where it would go. As I spoke to more people, just like yourself, I've been doing a lot of podcasts, a lot of media tours, a lot of speaking engagements. I realized the positive impact I was having on people's lives. And for the first time in my own life, I really felt like I was making a big difference. I've done a lot in my professional life that I'm quite proud of. But in terms of really impacting people's lives and setting them on a course for greater positivity, gratefulness, happiness, this became a passion. This became something that I realized was meaningful and changing people's lives.
Going back to the earlier years of your career, did you see yourself publishing a book? Was that like a dream of yours?
So for a while now, I've wanted to publish a book, but I never really knew about what. It was one of those bucket list items. Someday I'll write a book. And then during COVID, I started working with a new executive coach who said to me on the second call, literally first call, he did an interview with me. I answered a bunch of questions, personality, second call, just like this. He's like, dude, you are the Life is Too Short guy. Everything's rah, get it done today. And then I mentioned that to my wife that night, and she's the one who connected the dots and said, wow, maybe that's the book you always wanted to write. Of course, I didn't connect the dots, and I looked at her like, what would that book be about? That sounds ridiculous. Anyway, she knows me very well. I'm very grateful and fortunate. I've been with my wife now for 34 years, and she planted that seed, and then she watered that seed, and then she's like, have you thought any more about that book? And it just evolved. And during, we're in 24 now, 2022, through most of 2022, I wrote the book and released it early 2023, and now I continue this mission, spreading the happiness, spreading the joy. The goal of the book is really to give some people some very practical, easy tools to make their lives a little bit happier. It's not some big academic, change your whole life, read this book, and all of a sudden you're a different person. That's not reality. We all have seen those, and then 10 minutes later we forget. This is a takeaway 1 tip, 2 tips. All right, you want a tip, smile. Right? Smile a little bit more. And I'd love to do that. Watch. I watched you for a second. You stared at me for a second. You're like, really? That's
Smile.
it. And then you smiled. But that's the point, is if somebody listening to this, watching this, they look and they're like, and then all of a sudden they get in their car and they smile again. They get home, and then at the dinner table, they smile again. As they're putting their kid to bed at night, they smile again. All of a sudden, you've now added 4 or 5 smiles to someone's day. What happens with the ripple effect is everyone else starts smiling more. What about things like random acts of kindness? I talk about the power of random acts of kindness and how it's been demonstrated empirically that the recipient of a random act of kindness appreciates that act substantially more than the giver believed they would have. Isn't that amazing? So I want, as your listeners, your viewers watch this, think about, when was the last time I was the recipient or giver of a random act of kindness? And how can I change my perspective such that I go out today and perform just one random act of kindness? So now I've told you, smile more and perform 1 random act of kindness. What if I tell you that this book project, which I did, became a passion of mine? Had we spoken 3 or 4 years ago, I wouldn't have mentioned this as a passion. I tell people, chase your passion, think about your passion, identify your passion, and invest meaningful time and energy in chasing that passion. I think we have emphasized too many self-help gurus, people that are much smarter than me, to set people on their mission to find their purpose in life. I think that's wrong. I really do. I think we spend too much energy trying to figure out my sole purpose? Why am I here? What if we figured out our passion? Today, my passion is this. A couple of years ago, my passion was different. 5 years from now, my passion will be different. Chase your passions, invest energy, take a chance, get it done. It's another one of the principles in the book. Take a chance and get it done today. What are you sitting there right now thinking about? Somewhere in the back of your mind, I always wanted to meet so-and-so, talk to so-and-so, start a business, sell this, go through the litany of things we all think about. But then all of a sudden, fear and risk show up. And we're like, oh, I can't do that. Well, stop. Today's the day to go out and chase that. These are the principles that I talk about in the book and what Life is Too Short Guy is all about.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about that passion of how it changes. Can you elaborate a little bit in regards for people to make sense or okay with the fact that a passion moves from one thing to the next as you're growing or as you're in a different environment, the economy changes? Can you elaborate a little bit about that in regards to embrace that for me?
Embrace it. I mean, that's a great way to say it. Embrace it. That's the beauty of it. So too often where we talk about things in the hobby sense, what are your hobbies? Oh, I like to play golf and I like to, I don't know, read. Or we're searching for that life purpose. And what I think is somewhere in between the sort of passive hobby and the ultimate life purpose that I think is very difficult for people to find. And I challenge really believing you found your life purpose. In that middle zone is that energy you dedicate to passion. So maybe it is golf. By the way, I am passionate about golf. I play a lot of golf. I love to play golf. So what does that mean? What does it mean to be passionate? It means I make it a priority. So I know where I use my minutes and I say I'm passionate about playing golf. I'm going to make it a priority. It means I invest time and energy in it. It means I invest resources. Now, look, all your passions don't necessarily cost things. So I'm not suggesting you need to buy your passions, but golf has a cost associated with it. It means I spend time reading about golf. It means I spend time talking about golf. It is a passion. Years ago, I had different passions when I was, as you point out, a different phase of my life. I recently became an empty nester. My kids are still a huge passion in my life. But when they were younger, coaching them in sports was a passion in my life. Doesn't mean that I've lost my interest in coaching kids sports. I don't know if I'd say I've lost my interest, but it just doesn't make sense for where I am at my phase of life. So it's less of a passion, gives me more time, energy, and resources to focus on spreading the message of the Life is Too Short Guy, writing the book, maybe writing another book, getting on podcasts like this, and making sure I'm having a positive impact on the world.
Do you find that was great? That was phenomenal. Do you find that those that are able to spend their unique ability and their quality of time with their passion or spending that time, are those people able to find or tap into their mission sooner, simpler? Do you find that the two of them almost come together or help?
I think it's parsing words. I really do. It's the purpose, the mission, the passion, the vision. It's almost like getting in a corporate boardroom and going through all these things. I really just focus on the passion. I'm sorry. On the passion. What are you passionate about? So I said before, I'm on a mission to make the world happier one smile at a time. But it wasn't like I set out on that mission. I was truly passionate about this book, about this message, and about impacting people. Then I sort of had this epiphany. I'm like, if I can make people smile more, that's my mission. My mission is to make people smile more and to try to make the world a better place. I really encourage people to focus on your passions, whatever they are. Your passions could be associated with hobbies. It could be associated with friends. It could be associated with religious organizations. People are passionate about things they believe in, and that's wonderful. Whatever it is, go all in. Commit to it. Don't be a passive observer. Be an active participant. Whatever you're passionate about, make sure that world, whatever it is, knows you've passed through. And that's a broad statement, right? Whatever it is, make sure you've had an impact. That's what passion means to me.
That's beautiful. You mentioned the possibility of another book. Can I take you back through the journey of your first book? What was the hardest part of getting that book done?
Getting started. There's no doubt. It's one of the principles of Life is Too Short, guys. Take a chance and get it done today. How often have we thought about something we want to do and we immediately go to yes, but I'm afraid, this is scary, I don't know how to start, I don't know where to go, I don't know how long it's going to take, I don't have the resources, I can't take the chance. Stop with that. That was me. Imposter syndrome 101. I can't write a book. And if I wrote a book, who would care about the book? And if I wrote a book, it would probably be a horrible book. Well, you know what? I sat down, I started writing. I'm like, I could do this. Next thing you know, I become an Amazon #1 bestseller. Next thing you know, I'm on podcasts like this. I'm traveling around the country now, speaking at conferences, speaking to companies, speaking to teams, speaking to different organizations, spreading this message. And I love it all because I sat down and said, okay, let's start typing.
Start. Excellent. What is the next book on the agenda? Real short.
It's a great question. I am toying around with spending a little more time with this concept because I think there's a lot to do here with positivity, gratefulness, and happiness. And one of my ideas is to take this and transform it a little bit more into a parable that is applicable to business in particular. So the book, the way I wrote it, is very broadly applicable. It's not a business book. Anyone could read it. My teenage daughters could read it. My great-grandmother could read it, and everyone could take principles from it. Now I may drill down one layer and say, all right, how do you bring this into the boardroom? How do you bring this into building teams? How do you bring this into hiring people, firing people, whatever the case may be?
Excellent. Excellent. That comes to the end of our short podcast here. What an honor to have you on. And truly now I see, when I sent you the invite to come on to grow through positivity, I can see the willingness because our missions and passions really, really align. So I am grateful for you to take the time and come on. For everyone that enjoyed this podcast, please comment below, like it, spread it, repost it, reach out to Scott, go out and buy the book, read it, leave the comments, reach out to us. And if you'd like to be a guest on this podcast, please direct message me. Thank you so much for watching. And Scott, it was an honor to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you so much.